Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Tech Convo Podcast with me, your host, James. Today on the podcast, I have my friend Emmanuel Phiri. Emmanuel, welcome to the Tech Convo Podcast.
Thank you very much, Bafromel, and I highly appreciate the platform, the invitation. Yeah.
Yes. I know you, but maybe somebody who's listening might not really know you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Some people have seen your face, obviously, somewhere.
Yes. Yeah. So Emmanuel Phiri. I'm a creative specialist / multimedia design and digital marketer. Yeah.
Creative specialists. These are the people that my audience want to listen to. Yeah, it sounds like creative specialist. What do they even do? Yeah, so just like briefly, who is a creative specialist? What do you do?
Well, a creative specialist is a person who gets to break down content. Personally, I get to break down briefs written by the marketing manager and get to break them down get to create actual content from the briefs. Yeah, so I work with Premiere Pro, After Effects, Canva, and Photoshop, and all these other platforms you can use to create content. So basically, it's content that I create.
Yeah, and so basically you create content for businesses.
Yeah. Exactly, that's the word.
All right, so why is it very important for businesses now to focus on creating content? I know that it's not a new thing. Yeah. We've had it the time we had TV, we've had it with billboards, we've had it with radio. But now with the shift to social media, why is it very important for companies to put themselves out there on these platforms?
Well, I like to believe almost everyone 18 years and going up mostly on their phones. They are scrolling, they're ever scrolling. And I think that's the best way in which you can sell yourself as a business. Just putting yourself on these platforms where a person is scrolling, do a short video, do an ad and stuff like that. I think that's the best way in which businesses can sell themselves. It's actually for free, unless you want to do a paid ad or something like that, but it's sustainable for businesses.
Yeah, and it's free. You can just do it yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, and something that a lot of people think about when it comes to creating content to advertise or sell their business, they think of influencer marketing.
Exactly.
I think Zambia has now realized, okay, there's this such a thing as influencer marketing. They put in somebody like Ndinema who's doing a very great job. I don't know if you've seen what he's doing.
He's a great guy, actually.
Yeah, those challenges he's doing.
Yeah.
So now for a small company, I think with your business, we haven't talked about your business yet.
Yes.
But you work much with SMEs, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So for an SME with a very low budget, how do they go about this without breaking the bank for it? You know what I mean?
Well, ideally, I like to think every SME out there has a smartphone. All you need is a smartphone and yourself. You get to create content with your employees, yourself. If you are running this as a sole proprietor, don't even need a third-party person. Don't even need to break a bank for it. Just need to create content, ask ChatGPT, what can I work on this week? Create a calendar for you and stuff like that.
One thing you've talked about is me as a proprietor for a company. I own a company, I create software, I create applications. I can create content myself.
Exactly.
Yeah. But then one thing that people focus on are the numbers, and that's why they choose to go with the creators who've been doing it for a long time and they've got numbers.
Yeah.
So now, what's your concept when it comes to numbers? And is it necessary for me to hit 100K likes for me to say that I've reached out to a person?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if you got my question.
I guess your question, and that's a very good question. I actually did a video in line with SM. Yes. And my take on that, I like to think, as a business especially, or as a person who's trying to grow, push out, let's say, valuable information out there, I don't think it's important to focus on numbers. What you should focus on is building a community that actually will, let's say, if you put a product out there, if you sell shawarma, you sell XYZ, they'll be able to buy. So what you should focus on is creating a community. Let's say people that will actually buy. It doesn't matter if they're 100, they're 50. That's big. If 50 people come here and they're watching us, that's a lot of people. 50 people spends 50 kwacha every day on your business. That's a lot. So don't focus on numbers as a business or as a brand. Focus as much as you can on growing a community and making a community that will understand you. It doesn't matter if they meet you at a cafe, they meet you somewhere, they see you have a page on Instagram, they'll be able to relate. Doesn't matter where your platform is. It's on LinkedIn, it's on Facebook, doesn't matter. So focus as much as you can on creating a community.
And that's something that we've been talking about, I think, with Simon as well.
Yeah.
We were just saying that in Zambia right now, we're at a stage where companies don't look at community, they look at numbers.
Yeah.
So you'd find that a person sells makeup.
Yeah.
They want to work with a creator who is not in makeup, but they've got a lot of numbers.
Yeah.
To get my point, getting someone like Babateo to do makeup
Yeah.
for I don't know what I mean, like what. But then there are creators who are like lifestyle creators who are like into the makeup thing, and that's their thing, and then they'll ignore them because those people don't really have numbers, because their audience is niched out. So they're like, they only have like 30 people who listen to them on a daily, and then they go for somebody with thousands of people. So between the two, I like what you've brought up.
Yeah.
Communities are very important than numbers.
Just to back up, and I think this will also help the other people like just understand like how things work. Social media, social media especially. So I think just to get your perspective on this, right? There are paid ads. You mentioned Google, the paid ads, and then you mentioned SMEs. So SMEs, you say as long as a person has a phone, or as long as the company has a phone, they're able to like start with the maybe publicizing of the things they do, their company. How do you then maneuver around? Because right now, if we're facing the reality of it,
Yeah.
Facebook is a business.
Exactly.
So they are going to show your things to people. It's not going to be a big percentage of the people.
Yeah.
It's different from maybe back then, 2012 or 20 back then, when they would just show everyone.
Yeah.
Now it's more of who gets to see what and who has paid. Because there are those people who are established and have paid and have their things being showed to the people. And then there's you now who's just getting started out. You do not necessarily have money, but you do have your account. So you post something and then you get 2 views. How do you... You do not have money to boost so that you increase your viewership. How would you suggest someone goes around something like that before they actually grow their page?
Well, I think it goes down to research. Let's say doing research, finding out what the industry you're in, what people like about that industry. There's hashtags. You can use hashtags in a post. You see what I'm saying? So you can use hashtags to, let's say if someone says you are selling shawarma, someone searches for shawarma, you can use hashtags. There are a lot of hashtags you can use. So there's hashtags, you can use hashtags. And I like to believe running ads, it's relatively cheap. You can run ads as low as $3, $5. And yeah, you can even do
even $1.
Yeah. Even influencers, there are influencers and bloggers who are charging a 50 kwacha for an ad. I don't think there's a business who can't manage to pay that much just to get a platform like where they can advertise their stuff and get numbers like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and also when it comes to boosting posts, for me, from my own experience, I've attempted it before. And I think the greatest boost you can ever have is engagement.
Yeah, true.
As long as the algorithm has seen that what you are giving the audience, they love it and they want to, it will push it to more people.
Exactly.
So create relatable content.
Yeah.
People can also use employees. A lot of these places we go to eat, they are using their employees to do the TikToks. I've seen a lot of employees jumping on TikTok challenges, and then I'm like, does you even get paid extra? Or you are doing it because your voice has said
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So even employees can be content creators.
Yeah.
And you might be surprised.
And I think it's one of the best way or good ways on which you can blow on, let's say, social media and get, let's say, people talking and get people engaging. Let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's say Hungry Lion. If you see a person that, let's say you go at Hungry Lion East Park, you see an employee, you see them most of the times when you go there, that's the employee you see, and you are scrolling past, you see that same employee on your feed. That's a great tone which you can,
Yeah, even as you're talking to them, you're like, hi.
Yeah, I've seen you.
I see that thing.
So gets more engagement like that, and customers get connected to brands that push out that kind of content.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as well as, let's say also when it comes to content creation, there's also a rise in content creators themselves running businesses. So we've seen it with creators from outside, like people like Mr. Beast.
Oh,
They tend to now they've realized, okay, instead of me just pushing someone else's product, because I'm the face,
I'm the face. Yeah.
and the company is benefiting from me, how about I push a product?
The product
myself?
myself. Yeah.
And even in Zambia, we have people who are doing that. If you look at Chanda Brian, of course, sometimes he gets to use people. Other creators, but he's a creator on his own, and people follow him and also follow the business. But when it comes to that, even the hoods, I think they're also doing a good job with that. But when it comes to that, I feel like, is it a good strategy? Because there's this creator who does digital marketing on TikTok, and Instagram. He was talking about, he's from SA, and he was talking about Casper and how he's promoting his alcohol brand.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I'm not more happy. I follow that guy.
You can like what's his thing?
Yeah, that's the guy I'm actually using for, let's say, my content. That's the guy I'm benchmarking on him. When it comes to my content. That's a very good guy, and I think people should follow him.
Yes, but what do you think about what he said?
Let's say how he structured that same thing, like do you know the alcohol? Biliato, yes, exactly. And how Casper is pushing that same brand. It's not a good way. He actually mentioned that when you visit the Biliato page, it looks like it's a backup page for Casper on your vest. You see what I'm saying? So that's not a good way in which you can. It's a good way, but it's not sustainable in the long run, because let's say you have something going on that's controversial on you as a personal level. There's something controversial going on, and people will be like, Biliato, Casper, they won't even buy your product like that. So it's always important to finding, let's say it should be 50-50. You can advertise your product and just finding a balance on how you can well manage your push your products out there if you're doing products at all as an influencer.
Yes. And also something else that I've been thinking about, what happens when the person, God forbid it, but the person passes away?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Does the brand continue living?
That's the point actually on why it's not a good thing. An influencer should solely running their brand on their own. It's always important to put in other influencers just to push your product. I'll give you an example of, do you know Cotton Fest?
Yes, I was coming to that.
Yeah. Do you know once Cotton Fest?
Yeah, it was
Ricky passed on, like, I think 1 year, 2 years ago, but the brand,
I think it was
2 years ago, but the brand is still running up to now, and I think it's within this same space where they are doing the Cotton Fest event or something like that. Yeah, so that's how you should push your brand. Rick wasn't even the face of Cotton Fest. You understand what I'm saying? He was endorsing these young people, stuff like that. And then actually the way you should.
And then now it's the same young people who are pushing it.
Exactly.
And they don't want
the
to
legacy
die to keep his legacy.
Exactly.
Oh, yes. And let's now switch to personal branding. Why is it very important? Because we've just talked, I know people who are very, very business minded. They are running businesses, but they don't want to be out there. They want to be behind the scenes. But why is it very important for me as a person who is running a company to be a content creator? Or maybe we shouldn't call it as being a content creator. Let's just say you're putting out something about yourself on the internet so that people get to know you. Why is it very important for?
Well, it all goes back to what kind of content you're putting out there, and it should be relating with the business you are doing. Let's say you do graphic design, as I'm doing.
Yes.
Your strategy should be doing content that will be relatable to the people you want to serve, or the people in that same industry, the people you want to employ, or something like that. Yeah, so it should be always in line with the people you are serving. That's what it should go back to. Yeah, it should be intentional with how you push content out there. Yeah.
And I remember you made a video where you were saying that your content or your social media platforms is your CV now.
Exactly.
Yeah, so the way would like go to a company and give them a CV. These days, even your social media presence, your digital footprint is your CV itself.
Exactly, yeah.
So yeah, and I think people don't realize the impact that have.
True.
Yeah, if I would ask a person, I just go in the street and say, can you tell me a CEO, in Zambia? We know the names they're going to mention.
Yeah.
But they're the only CEOs that we have in Zambia.
Exactly. But because they're putting themselves out there and they've realized that social media has power, and they have utilized that to their,
Yes, and then as well as you are creating your personal brand, like you've said, there's a possibility of you swaying away from your core value, your main purpose of why you started doing that, because you've seen everyone dancing, and the ones who are dancing, they're getting a lot of views. So you're like, nice to be best. Yeah, but okay, once in a while, it's good for you to just engage with people on a personal level so that they just get to know, okay, this is the guy behind what he talks about.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be always the case.
Yeah, that's true. And I think, people get to, I've seen that most people sway off of their initial value of what they started preaching. And I think it's always important to have a plan of where you're at and where you're going when it comes to if you want to be doing content on these social media platforms. It's always important like that, having a plan and see where you are going, what's your vision and what's your mission. Always look back to that as a reference when you are doing something.
Then another thing I remember hearing was that people sometimes tend to focus on building a brand and not the skills. The way you are a graphic designer, you are a creative specialist, you focus much on putting your image out there, so that people get to know you. But then the skill that you are trying to promote is dying out. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, what's your thought on that?
Well, I like to believe it's important. It's as important. Everything is important. Always striking a balance, as you have put it. It's important striking a balance. Let's say, if you see, like, on these hours of a day, I'll be focused on, let's say, sharpening my skill. And on these hours of a day, I'll be sharpening my skill of doing content creation. And I like to think putting yourself out there as a content creator also helps you to speak, because I personally, I didn't know how to speak. Even now, I'm sure you can be able to tell some words are very hard for me to pronounce because I wasn't putting myself out there, and I was just locked in this introvert box. So it's as important putting just yourself out there, and you don't know the next opportunity you're going to get. And by the way, I even did a video for this, but every big opportunity I have, it has come from let's say social media.
Yes.
Like I mentioned, I was talking to my friend right there. I'm running brands Finta. I'm running Finta Zambia and Finta DRC. And they approached me because I did a project relating to I did something mukaka, something like that. It's a milk stuff. That was a passion project. I just did that because of passion. And that's how I even got that gig. They messaged me directly. I even sent a proposal as Emmanuel, but they contacted my company. So it's always important putting yourself out there as a person. Social media is very powerful. Trust me. Even my current job, LinkedIn, the first job I had, LinkedIn, and the first job I had, it's an agency, by the way, but I won't mention the agency or the company we're working. But we're dealing with one of the biggest brands in Zambia, and it's red, but I won't mention the company.
I remember you talked about, there's a post that you talked about digital marketing and marketing concepts. I think a lot of people think that if you are doing digital marketing, you don't follow traditional marketing concepts. So I'm coming to the video that you posted where you are talking about graphic designers and them creating something that their graphic designer friends are going to love, but then the client is not satisfied with it. So I just want us to talk about that a little bit.
In that same video, let me just break down the same video he's actually alluding to. So the video basically was talking about how I was a victim of this myself. Let's say designing for fellow designers to see if something is nice or something like that. But the question is, and the point is, doesn't matter if something you are making is nice or something you have made is nice. The core focus should be, is that thing going to generate actual sales or actual leads? That's the core thing you should focus on as a graphic designer. And I think graphic designers should now start doing, let's say, just short courses on, Alison offers free courses, but you can pay for, if you want to be certified, you can pay, I think it's less than 1,000. That's a good investment. Just learn something online for free, learn marketing, how to do marketing and stuff like that. If you can't do that, if you think that's too much for you, always make sure you sit down with a marketing person, understand the objectives of the project and stuff as a graphic designer.
That's digital marketing, right?
Yes.
So if you were to define it, is basically how you handle marketing online on digital platforms. How does it tie into like the everyday person?
The everyday what?
Why should an ordinary person care about digital marketing?
Well, it all falls back to why should an ordinary person care about digital marketing? Let's say it all falls back to who is that person? Is this a consumer, or is this a person selling content online, selling themselves and stuff like that? But I think an ordinary person, let's say if you are in banking, if you are in telecom, stuff like that, I think especially the young people should start doing more of content in their field, just making sure that people are learning, Zambian people are learning, and they're up to date with any industry, current trends happening in any particular industry. Yeah.
Do you think every field deserves to be online?
Every field, I like to think so.
So why I'm asking this is one time I was doing web design. No longer do it, so don't come to me at a website. No, I don't do it anymore. Ask that person sitting with you. I approached this company. It's an engineering company. I literally said to them, I could do this for you because I noticed you do not have this for you. For your company. They literally told me, no, thank you. We don't do that in engineering.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts towards that? That was a few years back. I don't know.
What was your approach? Websites? You offered to do websites for them?
I offered to provide them with a website.
Yeah.
And then basically visual things that are just like a facelift, so they're visible everywhere. So a website, also just like everything else.
Well, I think it all falls back to, let's say, I think it all falls back to your approach. What was your approach when, let's say, going to these same clients and saying, I'll make a beautiful website for you? What was your approach?
So a typical approach, so I'm sort of familiar with the person.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like I was starting from scratch. It's the person that knows me.
Yeah, so I don't think familiarity is even enough to justify why they even need a website. So basically what you needed to do.
Yeah, so I did provide a reason. So obviously when you're pitching into something and you want something to be bought, you want to tell them why they should buy from you, right? You want to tell them the benefits, what is in it for them if you do something for them. So then I highlight, you're not that visible.
Yeah.
I search for you, social media, you're nowhere to be seen.
Okay.
Website, there's no way. But I do see your projects. Like you see Manda Hill, they took part in that. These are offices for that company who gives out loans, the red one. What's that company?
Don't mention it.
Yeah, I will.
There was no free promo.
Yeah. Starts with any, I won't say. But yeah. They're big. But I reached out. It's like they didn't want, like from the core, not because of any reason of, like you could tell, like it wasn't because of the approach, but it was, you just had the thing. You're so positive, like we don't need social media. You don't need it.
My take on that would be, I like to think the justification wasn't enough, because let's say you come to me, I can do XYZ for you. People don't see you. What will those people do if they start seeing me? You see? So your thing would be how your approach could have been. You could have structured in a way whereby you're telling your same client the phone is. Yeah, you could have approached the same client in a way whereby you are providing a solution for them, and structured your proposal in a way that it's saying that if people start seeing you, you'll be generating sales of this much. Your sales will grow by 20%. Your sales will grow by this much percent. That's what clients need to know when you are offering a service to them. So I think you didn't just justify that enough. But I think, yeah, it's always about approach. Trust me.
So I feel like on my mind, like if you ask me, it wasn't about the approach because I was so sure. But I understand what you mean.
Wait, here's your point, yeah.
I do understand. I feel at the time, and this all comes again, it all comes down to both again. Because back there, it was like some years back, not so long ago, I think, yeah, like 4 years.
Yeah, 5 years is because I'll tell you this, Zambians are starting to endorse digital marketing. Let's say 2023, 2024 going up. That's when we are getting to know about digital marketing. And I think, the client didn't just know what that would do for them.
Yeah. How does technology tie into digital marketing? How do you include it in your work? And basically, how do you include it in your work?
Well, I like to think digital technology isn't part of digital marketing, but digital marketing is part of technology.
Yeah.
That's what I like to think. Yeah. So everything you do as a digital marketer, there's some platforms you can go and do some, but there's no coding and tech stuff related. So technology, digital marketing is just part of technology.
It's a part of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So why? What I'm asking now is, how do you include it in your work process?
I get to use specific AI. I get to ask ChatGPT like what. Sometimes I'm not able to pay for some platforms. You can ask ChatGPT like which platforms related to this can I use for free in these fields? Can I use for these? Which platform is cheaper in this field and stuff like that. So ChatGPT in general, that's
So I feel there it needs to be an episode.
It's an episode on its own. Ideally, I don't like to be technical when I'm saying stuff, so I just want to make sure that everything I'm saying is in line with even just a regular person will be able to understand and that can be able to use for their business and stuff like that.
I think also adding on to that, I would also want to find out, do you think this same AI thing is coming for a lot of digital creators? Graphic designers, we've seen now generative AI generating graphics. Like, it's improving, it's getting there.
Yeah.
We've seen now the rise of social media, AI social media influencers.
Yeah.
I've seen videos where people created content with AI, presented by AI. Yeah, so there are now like AI podcasts and stuff like that. So, well...
Yeah, that's a good question. And what I would tell you is that... yes, it's coming for some industries. I would like to say the industry has injured the most is copywriting.
Yes.
But I'll tell you this. Your boss will not go on Midjourney or ChatGPT to start prompting.
Yes.
It's a waste of time, trust me. So yes, it's coming for us in some way or another. Companies would downsize on how many employees they can have on a particular time. And it's coming for us, but we are not going to be replaced. Trust me. Yeah.
And I think, like you've said, downsizing is something that is inevitable, because now you'd find that a thing that required 10 people can be performed by 2 or 3 because they're using AI. Yeah. So now the best thing that any creative person can do is, how can I work with this same thing that's coming for me? Because it's going to make you faster anyways. Like in your thought, like for instance, content generation. Let's just talk about that. I'm sure you use maybe ChatGPT just to generate content ideas. Yeah. You are not really going to, like for me, sometimes I would ask ChatGPT and it gives me things, and then I'm like, this isn't even making sense. You know what I mean? But at least it's giving me ideas. I need that in my brain also.
And my thought on that is that people shouldn't be, let's say you are generating caption, you shouldn't get exactly as ChatGPT has told you. Make sure you modify that content that it fits. If you even read it, is this speaking to the segment you are saving as a company, and you modify that as per your vision and mission as a company.
And then a lot of things have been impacted. I've seen YouTube introducing auto dubbing now, where AI can now translate voices. What we are saying in English, we can now put it in Chewa.
Yeah, that's.
And then AI will like convert whatever we are saying into Chewa. So now it's. And then there were people who were being paid, working for Mr. Beast to translate his videos to...
they have lost...
Yeah, you know what I mean. Captions as well. Like now we have auto captions on videos.
Yeah.
So
but I'll tell you this again. Those same translation will need proofreading.
Yes.
So who will need to proofread? So we are not necessarily getting replaced, but just companies are just downsizing.
Yes.
That's my mind.
AI and being replaced. So we won't be replaced, but we're basically being assisted. So the best approach, I'm guessing, is to to know how to use it better.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I was at this place that dude experience. They were saying that no, who's the presenter? That designer.
Bohasuza.
No. Also Mapale. So Mapale was like AI enhances whatever you are. So if you're dumb, make you dumber. If you're clever, it makes you more clever. That's the point. So it just enhances, like it amplifies.
Right. So just as we wrap up this, do you have any last remarks that you'd like to share?
Well, like to share a project which I'm currently working on. It's on prototype stage, and basically I'm looking for, let's say, not necessarily funding, but partnership with big companies. So basically, the project is all about. By the way, it's I'm running it as my agency.
Yeah.
On the agency part, I have an agency called Skenelli Media House. So basically, the project is all about empowering 100 SMEs in 10 provinces with free social media, setting up their Facebook, or if at all they do have, revamping their socials and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm looking for partnership. People can come on board, and if you have a business and you are been wanting to go digital, your Facebook business accounts, your Google My Business and stuff like that, that's what we are trying to do, just to endorse the digital space coming up and stuff like that, because most of the businesses are not even online. So we want to empower 100 businesses, 10 in each province, because we have 10 provinces in Zambia, and it's called Digi100. So if you are a funder, if you are a company that would like to jump on this, you are very much welcome. Just let me know at Emmanuel. This is my email, emmanuel@skenerimedia.com. You can send me an email, or you can call me at 09771 84 65 16. And also you can find me on TikTok, LinkedIn, and Facebook. My profile is pretty much the same. It's yellow with some hair, stuff like that. So yeah, you are very much welcome to jump on board for this project. It's called Digi100, and we want to empower 100 businesses in 10 provinces, in all the 10 provinces, 10 each. So yeah, you are very much welcome to jump on this. Yeah.
That's a bold move. I like it already, you know. Yeah, empowering SMEs to jump on the digital marketing platforms so that they're able to put themselves out there. In a few years' time, we are not going to call them SMEs.
SMEs, they'll be big.
They'll be big.
Exactly, yeah.
All thanks to the opportunity that we are hearing. And if you are running a company, I know some people who are running companies, team from Lusaka, team from the Copper Belts, guys, you're a lot. Come on, send your applications.
Yeah. So, as if you are a business and you would like this, just make sure you have your PACRA and all these other compliance certificates ready, so that you'll be able to jump on this. That's one of the ways on which the criteria we are using to measure
Not income
before will be, So just make sure you are compliant with everything, and you'll be able to jump on the same project. So yeah, if you are a funder, yeah, you are very much welcome for partnership and stuff like that.
Yes, funders also jump on this.
In particular, as I said, let's say Zikta, there's ZRA.
Yeah.
ZRA, if people have businesses who watch this, they'll go register with ZRA.
Yeah.
They'll go register with PACRA. So even PACRA can jump on this. Yeah. So you are very much welcome to jump on this project. And let's take Zambia digital. Let's go digital as Zambia.
Let's go digital.